Today we will be discussing key international, professional and ethical frameworks identified by Speech Pathology Australia, or SPA, for entry-level speech pathologists. In addition, we will consider the My Place, Our Time framework for school-age care in Australia. My audience today are caregivers of school-age children who may or may not need speech pathology intervention and are curious about what the frameworks that guide and shape speech pathology practice in Australia. So what is a speech pathologist? Each speech pathologist is governed by the SPA, which is the national body for the profession in Australia. Speech pathologists are university-trained, allied health professionals with expertise in the assessment, treatment of communication and/or swallowing difficulties. Each individual has a right to possess an effective form of communication and swallowing. Communication refers to speech, verbal, non-verbal and written language, voice and fluency. Swallowing refers to dysphagia, oral function and mealtime management. Clear and effective communication is fundamental to the learning, development and maintenance of social interaction and relationships. Let's look at the first of our frameworks, the International Classification of Functioning, Disability and Health, or the ICF. The ICF is an important framework for speech pathology because it links communication to broader life skills and notes that communication is central to all human functioning. The ICF is the World Health Organization's framework for measuring health and disability at both an individual and population level and provides a standardized framework for the description of health and health-related domain. The ICF's emphasis is on health and functioning rather than on disability, and its model is based on the biopsychosocial model and provides for definitions for voice and speech functions. Using the ICF framework allows a speech pathologist to set goals with an individual and or their caregivers. For more information on the ICF, please visit the World Health Organization's website. The next framework we will look at is the SPA Code of Ethics. Speech pathology, like most professions, is guided by a code of ethics. Each clinical decision and every behaviour of a speech pathologist must adhere to the code of ethics. The code entails values, which include: the principles of the code are. And finally, the standards of practice of the code include, but are not limited to. For more information on the code, please visit the SPA's website. Thirdly, we will look at the Competency-Based Occupational Standards for Speech Pathologists, or CBOS. CBOS describes the minimum standards, knowledge base, and professional standards required for entry-level speech practice in Australia. Each graduate must meet the minimum standards set out in the CBOS. Entry-level speech pathologists need to have mentorship and guidance in the form of professional support, clinical and managerial supervision. So what is competence? Competence is witnessed when a speech pathologist provides services, acts professionally, ethically, and reflects critically on their practice. An entry-level speech pathologist must be able to show competencies in any of the competency-based occupational standards in both the development and acquired disorders of paediatrics and adults in the following areas. CBOS encourages the SPA's endorsement of evidence-based practice being the combination of clinical expertise, research, evidence and resources. An entry-level speech pathologist will need to be mindful that this involves critically analysing and questioning prospective outcomes of their plan management. Please visit the SPA's website for more information on CBOS. And finally, the My Time, Our Place framework. In addition to the previous framework, speech pathologists working with children should be aware of the My Time, Our Place framework, which sets out relevant principles that speech pathologists should acknowledge to promote children's learning and well-being. This framework draws on conclusive international evidence that children learn and develop the skills and behaviours required for active citizenship in a wide range of settings. This framework puts children's learning and well-being at the core and is comprised of three interrelated elements, being principles, practices and outcomes. For more information, please visit the Department of Education's website. These frameworks make me feel supported in that they guide and shape speech pathology practice in Australia. Entry-level speech pathologists learning in a clinical workplace will find themselves in a complex, active and rapidly changing environment. This inevitably will require students like myself to learn new skills quickly and independently. In order for this to successfully happen, recognising and reliance on the importance of these frameworks is paramount. On reflection, I personally find the Code of Ethics to be particularly beneficial as it lays the technical foundation upon which the other frameworks may stand. I will revisit and revise these frameworks on a regular basis to ensure that I am adhering to and applying the relevant values, principles, and standards to guide my future practice.